You're listening to the Luxe Life Discovered podcast, where we talk with people who are living a lifestyle that reflects their passion, because we believe everyone should be living their best life, their Luxe Life. The show is hosted by Rick Steiner with Steiner Event Group, a premier national event planning company, and co-hosted by Shannon Richmond, the Vice President of the Panama City Beach Chamber of Commerce. If you are watching on YouTube, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell to get notifications of future episodes. The show is produced by 30A Media and is broadcast on your favorite podcast outlets, as well as YouTube, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TVs, and other major brand smart TVs.
Hello, I'm Rick Steiner with Steiner Event Group. Welcome to Luxe Life Discovered. My co-host today is Shannon Richmond with the Panama City Beach Chamber. So Shannon, glad to have you today.
Thank you for having me again.
Great. And our guest today is Riley Clark with Thing Cigars. So welcome, Riley.
Thank you so much.
Good. So tell everybody who doesn't know about Thing Cigars, kind of when it started, who started it, and all that information.
So Thing Cigars is a lifestyle lounge located on 30A. We are adjacent to the Big Chill, and we serve beer, wine, cigars. It's just a nice open air lounge. We started back in 2016. Paul Copeland and Bryan are our two owners. They were fishing one day, and Paul, he had owned a cigar shop back up in Franklin, Tennessee. And he told Luke that he was going to come down here and open up this venture. You know, he wanted to do something on the beach and do his own thing. And Luke was like, man, that sounds pretty cool. I'd like to be a part of that. So, they started that venture in 2016 and rocking and rolling ever since.
So do a lot of people come in expecting to see Luke? You have that?
It happens. I mean, it's not.
Well, you never know. It's like, oh, Luke owns this. He's here. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So.
It happens sometimes, but.
Well, something that, and I've told you this before, tell us about the women. Because you think cigar, you think of the old stuffy days with,
right.
Men sitting around.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's definitely changed, hasn't it?
Oh, yeah. The times have definitely changed. We, specifically at Thing, we focus on being attractive to the female clientele. We, do the open air and the ventilation. So we pump scented air into the building, because that's one of their main kind of hesitations is the smoke smell. But yeah, we have increasingly seen more and more women interested in the world of tobacco. We do, like just last month, she said,
I'm still shaking my head. I'm like, what?
Just last month, we did a female cigar 101. So we always try to cater to the women a little bit more. So, yeah.
So what's the initial reaction when a lady comes in for the first time and wants to try a cigar? Like, how do you even guide them?
Where do you start?
Yeah.
I always like to recommend starting them with a traditional tobacco, but something that's on the milder side. But sometimes they're looking for something sweet. We do offer infused sweet options. So it's all about a conversation and palate preference.
Right.
So that's usually where I start, is I ask them, do you want something traditional and mild or something a little more sweet?
So depending on if it's a man or a woman, that's how you would kind of start gauging of what you would recommend for them to try. It wouldn't be the same, right?
Not necessarily. So I actually, there's really not that's what we're trying to do, is break that stigma.
Okay.
So no, with a man just as well, I would start them off with something mild. If they were looking for sweet, then I would recommend something sweet. But anyone that's new, man or woman, I would recommend them starting off with something mild and traditional.
So Shannon, it's not like the men's case is here and the women.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm thinking, like perfume. That's
right.
kind of how, but that's kind of cool. That's why I'm glad we're talking to you about that. So do women come and have clubs and do things like that there?
So we actually get a lot of bachelorette parties that come, and they all want to try something out. And so we have different, like we do have a girls' night out pack, and it has some mild and some sweet options in it. That's really quick for them to grab, or we'll walk through and do a more customized kind of tasting and explanation for them.
That'd be a fun party.
Yeah.
So you said it's open air. How many people can fit in there?
Inside the building, we can fit about 50, and then we've got a patio that seats another 30.
Well, that's a good sized party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and then you do karaoke.
Oh, yeah.
Starting back up soon, right?
We start that up on February 24th.
Okay.
We do it every Friday night. We do karaoke. It's such a good time.
So being where you are in the hub there, I'm sure you're events kind of spill out into the street a little bit.
Yeah,
Do they?
yeah, sometimes, yeah. We
Which is a good thing.
last year
Yeah.
we had an anniversary party, and I mean it was wonderful. We had a wonderful turnout, and we were like 6 deep in the streets, like people just all around rock and roll, and it was really cool.
Oh,
good.
that
Yeah.
is cool.
It was awesome.
And I think Scott Lasser, DJ 38, was
Yes.
a part of that.
Oh, yeah.
He's been on our podcast a couple of times. We like
Okay.
Scott. Yeah.
Yeah, we love Scott. We use him
Had
for
to
a
give
lot of our
little throw
events.
out there,
Of course.
So, yeah. But in fact, we gave you guys a little shout out. We did a podcast with Jason Ellis, who is known as the King of Covers. He's a fitness photographer and has over 500 fitness covers internationally.
Yeah.
And he's a big cigar guy. So
Okay.
we were telling him about Sure Things, and I
Yeah.
said, you need to reach out to them. And,
Absolutely.
might be a good collaboration with you guys. at some
Definitely.
point. But he's known over the globe for all of his work. So
Very cool.
okay, so if I were coming in, how do you? Okay, I know you say you start with the milder ones.
Mm-hmm.
How do you teach people? Like not only the types of cigars, but there's like the cutting and the torch. And I mean, it's
It's an art.
right. It really is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. It really it really is.
That's why I
Okay,
wanted
so
to.
do you want to? Are you a smoker? If you're a cigar person, is that the same kind? You just go from cigarettes to cigars, or what if you've never smoked in your life?
If you've never smoked in your life, so I smoke cigars and have been for 10 years. Never smoked a cigarette in my entire life.
Yeah.
So
We're going to buy Shannon a cigar tonight.
So does that give you like relaxation? Do you smoke more than one cigar a day? Is it like cigarettes that you go through more than one? I mean,
So I would say that like a cigar is more of an experience. It's more a little bit luxurious. I do personally typically smoke more than one cigar a day. Like I like a cigar with my coffee in the morning while I'm getting some work done. And then when I'm done with work, I like to relax and have a cigar. And so the whole experience is relaxing. It's not that you're getting this high, super nicotine buzz.
that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, like a cigar. So cigars are all organic. There's no chemicals in them.
Oh,
And so they will naturally carry about 3%, max 3% nicotine, whereas your cigarettes and your vapes are, 40, 50%. That's all chemical.
oh.
I never
Yeah.
knew that.
Okay, I'll try a cigar tonight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then tell us when they come into Sure Things here on 38, what to expect. I mean, you have the bar when you come in.
Mhm.
You've got a lounge area with the big screen TVs for
Yes.
games and sports, the patio, the humidor.
Yes.
Tell us about that, because that's massive.
Our humidor is obviously our pride and joy. I always call it like you're a kid in a candy shop. Everything is beautiful. We have the lighting just right so that everything is displayed well, and the gold on the boxes is shining back at you. And so you will always have a consultant walk back there with you. One of the ladies that are working, they'll go back there and they're there for you. So if you just have questions about what you see, they can help. If they need a recommendation, they can help. If you want a little background education, hey, I see this, but I don't really know, like, what's that going to taste like? That's what they're there for. And so they'll guide you through the humidor, help you make your selection if you want it. And then we'll take it back to the front. We'll get it cut for you. We'll light it for you. And then,
Dang.
yeah.
So when you're smoking a cigar, how long does it take to smoke a cigar?
It depends on the size of the cigar. I would say a good average is going to be about 45 minutes to an hour.
So like when you're drinking your coffee, you're just having a little smoke.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of cool. And do you use flavors? Do you infuse yours?
I don't lean towards infused or sweeter cigars typically.
I would have thought you'd have said, "Oh yes, I like lilac."
We have a fantastic espresso infused cigar. It's a coffee and a chocolate flavored cigar.
Oh.
If I want something sweet, that's what I'll go towards. But I typically prefer something out of like Nicaragua.
Oh.
Yeah.
And so, where else do they come besides Nicaragua? Yeah.
You'll find 3 main regions: the Dominican, Honduras, and then Nicaragua.
And what's the main differences between the 3?
So your Dominican tobacco is going to be more mild, salty, great flavor. Honduran tobacco is just going to be a little more rich in flavor, a little less on the mild side. And then your Nicaragua, you'll find much more spice to that. It'll be much fuller bodied tobacco.
So you know this store inside and out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there was a post recently of the guys in,
Honduras.
is that where they were? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So they actually go and meet with the growers and,
Yeah.
And it's
know.
all organic.
yeah.
All organic.
I never knew that.
So I actually was on that trip with them down in
Oh, we're
Honduras.
okay. Yeah.
And we got to go to the farm. I mean, we got to see everything from the greenhouse, from the seed, all the way to the production where they're putting on the caps and closing the boxes with seals. It was amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good because you need to know how to sell your product, and it sounds to me like you know every single piece about it, which is really because when you go there and you've never done it, like all these questions, you're like,
Yeah.
oh, here's the answer.
Right.
It's so nice to know that you know,
Right.
and that you actually partake.
Yes. Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
and Shannon, this will blow your mind too. Probably a third, and I may be off on the exact estimate, but a third of the space they have is the humidor.
Oh,
It's
wow.
it's almost the size of this room. I
Do
would
people
think.
go in there
Yeah,
and
yeah.
select at the humidor, and that's where they're all kept?
Yes. Yeah.
See, I'm learning.
Yeah, we keep the room is temperature and humidity controlled.
Okay.
Mhm.
And
And
so
how-
you go in and you just can check all the brands, the flavors,
Yeah.
and then you can go out there and smoke it.
Yes. You're welcome to take it with you if you don't want to smoke it there, or if you do
Oh
want
no,
to smoke
it's
it.
got to be an
Yeah.
experience.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We'll get you a nice glass of
And then, yeah, I was
wine.
gonna say, then they have the wine or beer, whatever you want to go with it. All right, price ranges. This is going to blow your mind too. What is your like typical price range, and then how high end do you go?
So I would say a good average for our cigars would be, a $15 range, $18 range. But we do carry some more premium cigars. You'll find one in there we have is going to be real special. It's $500.
For one cigar,
Yes.
45 minutes smoke.
Well,
You can make that one last 3 days. No, I'm just kidding.
so I will say, the tobacco that is used in the cigar is incredibly rare. The packaging of the cigar is beautiful. They use real gold, real silver in the label. It is a truly luxurious experience and well worth it. I have had
Do
one.
you sell them?
Of course.
A lot of them?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean,
It's wonderful for like weddings, baby shower, not baby shower, but like when a baby's born. It's a perfect like celebratory cigar.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
So-
when she was talking about cigars, the first thing I thought about is our golf tournament at the chamber.
Yes.
Our people and women did take the cigars. I remember that, but I thought, oh, they're just taking a second one for their husband. But not,
Yeah.
now that you say that, but I bet you that's really popular for golf tournaments, grabbing some cigars out there.
Oh yeah.
I got some ideas.
good deal. Well, so how did you get involved? I mean, because your background was not in cigars and
Right.
the whole concept.
You wouldn't
so-
know it wasn't back.
Well, I know it. That's true. Yeah, you've really done your homework well.
Thank you.
So
thank
yeah.
you.
So what made that transition?
So I, like I said, I've been smoking them for about 10 years now. I was down
So you were smoking those before you even, okay.
prior to,
Yeah,
yep. Mhm.
okay.
I was down at a festival in Grayton Beach 4 or 5 years ago, and I met with Paul and their former GM, and they were like, "Hey, you like cigar?" Like I went up and got a cigar from him, started smoking, was talking to him a little bit, and they were like,
No, like, oh, she knows what
they
she's
were like,
doing.
"Oh, you like cigars? Like we'd like for you to come, work with us." And at the time, I wasn't ready to make that change. I was, doing mortgage, and I was like, "I'm okay. I'm just gonna figure this out." And so about 6 months later, I was like, "Hey guys, I'm ready. Like I want to come work for you guys. I love what you do. I love your vibe. I love cigars. I think it would be great to be a part of that."
So how did the call with your parents go?
They were thrilled.
Well, they were.
My dad is so jealous of me.
That's great because
Yeah.
it's either going to be that or like, honey.
Yeah, no,
What?
they
Yeah,
were
okay.
they were like, "Oh man, that's so cool. What a cool opportunity." And like now my dad will be like,
That's great.
"Hey, I can't get these cigars, but I know that you can get them." So I'll send him cool stuff that we get that he can't get. And,
Right. Well, good.
yeah.
So, of course, the quality of the tobacco and the packaging.
Mm-hmm.
What else would make the price ranges so varied? And are there any cigars? Now, this is going to be a stupid question. Made in the U.S.
There are cigars made in the U.S. Yeah, there are.
Okay.
So I would say region, shipping wise, what their costs are, that's what's going to go into it. And then you mentioned quality of the tobacco, but also the processes. So, like Davidoff, for example, they have 300 hands that touch the cigar before you even smoke it.
Wow.
And
What are they doing with it when you say touch it?
So just like there's somebody in the greenhouse that's planting the seed. There's somebody that's transplanting the seed into the fields. There's somebody that's monitoring that. There's somebody that's pulling the primings of the leaves. Somebody that's putting the leaves up to cure. It's just like the whole, yeah. And then the quality control. So like when we went down to Camacho last week, they've got someone that's rolling. They have a team of 2 that's rolling the cigar, and then it goes through 3 different quality controls. So you've got 3 different people for that. Like, it's just, yeah.
Well, I'm from Kentucky, and I'm used to the tobacco barns and they're firing the tobacco, but I always thought of it for cigarettes. And I'm sure most of that is used for cigarettes and not cigars. But, it's just amazing to learn the difference. I'm going to do a little more research on this because this has been interesting. And
You promised me a cigar tonight.
That's true, yeah. Well, I'll stop by there, yeah. Because I don't know. It's just not the 80-year-old man in a boardroom smoking a cigar anymore. And like I told Riley at first, like, just amazed at the women and the reception there, because that's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when the girls come for a bachelorette party, let's talk about that.
Okay.
Do they rent the entire place out, or just come in with their group? Or
they can. That option is available. A lot of times they want to be a part of the existing crowd. Like they want to just
sense, yeah.
Yeah, so like they'll come for karaoke night, but they'll call ahead and say, "Hey, we're coming with a group of this many girls. We want to get a table or whatever, but we want to make sure that we want to smoke a cigar. So like we want you to help us."
They get out of hand.
What's that?
Do they get out of hand?
Sometimes.
Hey, it's their night.
They're celebrating. Yeah, they deserve to.
There's something I was going to ask you just now that went along with that, but we'll come back to that if I think of it. But hey,
I'm sure there's bachelor parties too.
Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah.
The bachelorettes, the ones that are like, what?
Yeah.
Well, that's a whole new segment of the wedding industry now, the bachelorette party. So, and then 30A, there's tons of bachelor and bachelorette parties that occur in this area. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's a huge area for that.
And then you go off site to cater parties too as well.
Yes, absolutely. We do events and weddings. Yeah.
That's kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that and of course they're going to, by the time this airs, the bridal show will be over, but you guys will be at our bridal show Sunday, and we're excited about that.
We're very excited for that.
And I just think you're going to get such a good response from it.
Yeah.
And I think as one thing about the bridal shows, it's not just the attendees networking with the other vendors. And I think they're going to be, they're going to be as surprised as Shannon is getting about it.
Do you have things that will bring, like when women are talking to you, do you have stuff up there that, show a woman smoking a cigar? So then they'll have that question, because I would never know to have that question. Do women smoke cigars?
Really? Yeah. Huh. I never thought. I mean, most of our materials do feature us smoking the cigars.
Oh. Yeah. Then I would ask. I'm like, you smoke a cigar? That's kind of cool. I can't wait to see what kind of reception you get. I bet you it's pretty cool.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it.
I'll be there, so I'm going to come and check.
Oh, good. Okay, good.
We may have to have like an outdoor area where we can
go out there and smoke our
cigars.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, well, that is interesting. So, do you think you would ever leave your current location to have a larger spot? Because I'm sure there are days when you could use extra room.
Yeah.
But there's something special about where you are.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's a great spot.
Yeah.
Plus, you can go off site if you needed bigger.
Exactly.
I love that little spot. You got that cute little cubby in there.
Yes, we love it. And with the expansion of the patio, and we've added a non-enclosed patio with rocking chairs. Like, there's plenty of space. And if it's a little crowded, it's just a fun time.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. So, are you surprised?
So surprised.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see. I'm gonna go to your booth a lot on Sunday.
Good.
And be like, which woman's buying cigars?
Yes. Who's interested
Right.
there?
Point her out. Yeah.
Yeah, point her out. I just think it's just really interesting. And like you said, you never smoked a cigarette, but you picked up a cigar, and it's very relaxing. So it's just, I wouldn't even know to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't think I knew that many men that even smoked cigars when I was growing up, so it was never around a lot.
Yeah.
What
Usually
made you
when men
pick
are
up your
drinking,
first
you
one?
see a cigar,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, or the scotch,
Yeah.
that type.
That's
Yeah.
what's in my head.
Exactly.
So I grew up with my dad smoking cigars, so I was always
Okay, so
comfortable with the idea of it. One day in college, I was with my roommate, and she said, "Hey, I've been thinking about trying cigars. What, like, do you think you'd want to try one with me?" I was like, "Oh, yeah, my dad tries those, or my dad smokes those. Like, I'd be into that." We tried it. The person working at the shop put us on an acid blondie, which is just a very light vanilla flavored sweet cigar. We liked it, so we moved on and we started learning about it, and we're wanting to try more traditional tobaccos and things like that. And we actually ended up hosting like cigar nights at our apartment. We would have guys over and we would do cigar night with
and the guys are
whiskey.
probably thinking, man, these girls
These girls are so cool.
But yeah,
We're
so
going to threaten one of the two. It's like, she knows more than I do. So, yeah.
That's so cool.
yeah.
Well, that's interesting because I just, like I said, when I first knew about the cigar, of course, what came to my mind initially was Bryan owns it, so that's kind of cool.
Right.
And then when you learn more about it or research more about it, you don't forget that part, but it makes you, it's just interesting.
Yeah.
It's definitely appealing, and it's not the cigarette
Right.
image.
Right.
It's a very upscale.
Yes.
And so it just makes you want to pursue that and see what the hype is all about.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a lifestyle. It's not a hobby.
Right. That's true, yeah. And
Yeah.
it's an investment in
Yes.
some cases.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
so okay, let me ask you this before we go. So when someone buys cigars and takes them home, do they need their own little humidor at home? I'm not what you have at your place, obviously.
Right.
But a smaller one, is that recommended, or?
So we always ask. We make sure to ask so that they, don't take it home, let it sit there for 3 weeks, and then smoke it, hoping it's
Right.
going to be okay. So what I would say is, if it's going to sit for a few days inside and like not going to get hit by the sun or anything, then it's probably okay. Anything longer than that, you do want some kind of humidity. We offer at the shop humidity packs that you just throw it into the bag, and it does the work for a
Okay.
month, 2 months, something like that.
That's nice, yeah.
But like in your home, if it's something you're looking to start as a hobby, then yes, we would definitely recommend a humidor.
Do you sell those as well?
We do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
One-stop shop.
Well, have you ever seen the cutters they
Yes.
use? Yeah.
They're
So
fancy.
They are. They're nice. Yeah. So, well, good. Well, that I just, like I said, I've been intrigued with this from day one, and then
Yeah.
when I met you, you were so nice and outgoing, and then the ladies part of it, that just really, because just totally blew my mind. So,
Oh yeah. Sisters of the Leaf.
so that's your group, or tell us about Sisters of the Leaf.
In the industry of tobacco, it is the name for the women that are, because
So it's okay.
it's a known name for women in the industry. And so like last year, I did a women's panel, and it was the Sisters of the Leaf panel. And so there were 4 of us that were in the industry. General manager, one was, she actually had her own cigar brand. One
Wow.
was, owned a store, that kind of thing. And so we just all did a women's panel, and they definitely are working hard to kind of bring about that awareness of women in the industry.
That's interesting.
great,
Now, do you do your own podcast also?
I do not.
Okay, that's maybe what you were on one time when you did a podcast. Maybe you were on part of that Sisters of the Leaf.
I think that's,
Okay,
yep. Mhm.
that's So, well, that's interesting. That's something that I love to do these podcasts and learn because
Absolutely.
it's if it was something I knew about, that's boring.
Right.
So I look clueless sometime when I do this, but hey, it's like it's
But you're
all
learning.
a learning process.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Absolutely.
So what's next for you? With business, is there anything that you'd like to do more for women and branching out?
I want to focus on doing those women's cigar 101. I'm very big on empowering through education. And so the more you know, kind of the more confident you are in
Right.
that, realm. So I do want to focus on more like bachelorette parties coming to 30A. Hey, I'll come to you. We'll do a little sit down. So you're not in the intimidating space with,
Sure.
people
And they're
who know
more
what they're
relaxed.
doing.
Yes, yeah.
Exactly. And so definitely anything that I can do to bring women into this industry and understand that they can enjoy it just the same.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Shannon, any closing
I
comments from you? No, I knew this was going to be a good podcast, and it definitely was, and I thank you so much for being here.
Eye-opening.
Yeah,
it
thank you
is.
so much for having me.
So, Raleigh, if you will, just look at the camera and tell people how to contact you and where you are.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are located in Watersound, Florida. And if you just go to www.surethingscigars.com or our Instagram or our Facebook, the handle is surethingscigars.com or surethingscigars. And then to email me directly, I would be Riley@surethingscigars.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, great. Well, thanks again for being here today. That wraps up this episode of Luxe Life Discovered. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube and podcast, and just let us know what you think about our guests, about our topics, and we look forward to hearing from you. See you soon.
Check out Luxe Life Discovered on Facebook and Instagram and on 30a.tv. See you next time on Luxe Life Discovered.